Hello everyone, welcome back. For today's practice, you might need a set of blocks or something that you can support your knees in our resting pose. So if you don't have blocks, maybe some pillows or some books, 2 of them, so that you can support each of your knees. So if you need, you go get something that you can have for your knees to support them with. And then when you're ready, come to what position you would like to start your practice in today. Is it going to be the traditional Shavasana on your backs? What mood are you in today? What is going to give you the space? What is going to give you the feeling of letting go? So as you are settling into the pose that you are going to start with, start to tune into that breath. Just so that you notice how your breath is today. Is it a little quicker than usual? Is it a little slower than usual? Regardless of what it is for you, see if you can smooth it out slightly. And as your body starts to relax and settle in, focus in on that smoothness. As you transition from inhale to exhale, notice if there's any stuttering, if there's any glitches, and see if you can iron those little wrinkles out to smooth out your breath. We'll take a few breaths here so that your body can settle even more into whatever shape you have decided to start your practice in today. See if your inhales and exhales can be full and yet comfortable for you today. Remember to always come back to that breath as your gauge. It will tell you if you are moving too much, too fast, too slow. Honor what your breath tells you, to take the breaks when you need, as often as you need, regardless of what we're doing here in the video. One more full cycle of breath, a nice big inhale, and release in your exhale. And then invite those small movements, whatever they may be for you today, to gently wake up the body, getting it ready for a little bit of movement. And if you are in a sit position, make your way down to your back. If you are already on your back, bend at the knees so that the feet are comfortably on the floor. And we're going to try to wake up our abs a little bit. So you can have your hands down by your sides, palms down. You can have them lightly by your ears, but try not to pull on your head if your hands are by your ears, and try not to extend too much in the neck out of the neutral spine. Plant your feet, find stillness, and we're going to take some pulses, very slow pulses. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, lift the head and shoulders and pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release back down to the floor. Take one leg and then the other and get the shins parallel with the floor as best as you can. And we're going to go again, exhaling to pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the head and shoulders. If you can, extend the legs up towards the sky. Try to get them straight, but don't worry if they're not 100% straight. And we're going to pulse again, exhaling for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the head and shoulder lifted. Rebend at the knee to bring those shins parallel with the floor. Once again, pulsing for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the head and shoulder lifted if you can. Drop the feet to the floor. And our last set of pulses for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down to the floor with the head and shoulders. And take any movement that is going to release that for you. Whether it's a little sway side to side, whether it's drawing the knees into the chest and taking a little sway. Take 2 or 3 breaths here just to release that work effort. Remember to take your little break, take a drink whenever you need to. Take one more cycle of breath here. And then make your way up into tabletop. Whether it's rocking and rolling, taking a partial rock and roll to get yourself to tabletop. And once again, in tabletop, try to set up your hands underneath your shoulders. Try to set up your knees underneath the hips. Remember, you can always replace those hands if they're not quite right. Take an inhale here to open up the collarbone. Turn those elbow creases forward, and with your exhale, come up into your downward facing dog. Remember, spine lengthens first, and then straighten out the legs if you can. Find what works for you. 1 or 2 breaths here just to settle in to lengthening your spine. Take an inhale, lifting the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale your right knee into your chest, come forward into your plank. Inhale, extend that leg back up towards the sky, 3-legged down dog. Knee to chest, come forward to your plank. Extend the leg up towards the sky, and this time swing it through to your crescent lunge. And remember, if that leg doesn't quite make it to where you think it should be, help it along. Yes? Come up with the torso if you haven't already. Remember, if you're losing your balance, don't use the arms right away. Maybe the arms stay at your waist while you settle into your legs. Take a full cycle of breath here. Try to keep the lunge in the front leg. As you exhale, lower the back knee down towards the floor. Once, twice, and one last time. And then settle in once again into your crescent lunge. Maybe this time the arms go up. Maybe the shoulders are feeling pretty good. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, hinge forward. Take the hands to the floor. Step back to your downward facing dog for one breath. And then come down to your knees, tabletop. Now to give the legs a little bit of a break, we're going to work our shoulders. Come down to your forearms, and we're going to use our forearms to the floor for our plank. So elbows are underneath the shoulders. I've interlaced my fingertips. I'm pushing down on the edges of my forearms, and then extend the leg back, and then extend the opposite leg. See if you can avoid sinking into the shoulders. See if you can push that floor away and work the arms, work the shoulders in your forearm or dolphin plank. Try not to have the bum lifted too high, but also remember, try not to have that saggy belly. Try to lift that belly button up towards the low back. And see if you can breathe here. 2 breaths. A nice big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, drop the knees. Push yourself back up into your hands. Take a quick little child's pose. Come back into tabletop, tuck the toes under. Take the inhale to open up the collarbone. And then as you exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up to the sky, 3-legged down dog. And as you exhale, knee to chest, come forward to your plank. Inhale, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, forward to your plank, knee to chest. One more time. Inhale, 3-legged down dog. And with your exhale, swing it through into your lunge. Remember, if it doesn't make it, help it with that hand to come into your optimal lunge position. Inhale, lift the torso. Maybe the arms come up. Maybe they're a cactus. Maybe they're halfway there. Try to keep that front knee bent. Inhale here, and as you exhale, try to drop that back knee down towards the floor, even if it's 1 millimeter or 2. That's 1. I'm going again, try to lower that back knee down towards the floor. That's 2. And 1 more, 3, dip. Settle into your crescent for a full cycle of breath. Exhale, hands down towards the floor. Step back to your downward facing dog. Come forward to tabletop. We're going to try that forearm plank again. Drop down to the forearms. Set up your fingers. Elbows underneath the shoulders as best as you can. Push down into the edges of your forearms. Step 1 leg back into your plank. Opposite leg. Remember, I know you may not have a mirror, but try to notice where your bum is in space. Is it too high? Is it too low? If you absolutely need to, drop the knees down for a second or 2. Catch your breath, and then come back up. We're going to hold for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees. Push yourself back up into your hands and sit back into a child's pose. Whether it's active, whether it's knees closed or knees far apart. But take a few breaths here. to kind of release the legs, release the hips, release the shoulders, catch your breath. Maybe that was a little bit too much for you. Maybe you overexerted yourself. So make sure that you catch your breath. One or two more cycles of breath to catch your breath, to cool down, to settle down. And then make your way back into your downward facing dog. And notice if it feels a little different. Does the spine feel a little more lengthened? Maybe the legs are a little bit straighter. Finish your exhale, and with your inhale, baby step those feet forward. See how this one feels to get to your forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, fold. Try to get the top of your head towards the floor. Inhale, flat back. And this time, exhale into your chair. Now remember, choose the modification that you need for your chair. Today I feel like working my ankles a little bit more, so I'm going to allow my knees to really come forward and try to get the ankle to have a bigger flexion. Because lately I've been feeling my ankles are a little tighter, so I really want to take the opportunity to kind of get a little bit of work into my ankles while I still work my chair. Remember, try to keep that low back kind of tucked under so that it's not awkward, it's not painful. You want to be able to hold your chair pose with a little bit of work effort, but you don't want to feel like you're dying a miserable death. Keep breathing, choose your hand position wherever it feels best for you today. Keep breathing. Now inhale to release a little bit up, and then exhale, sink a little deeper. For 1, inhale, lift slightly. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift slightly, and this time exhale to fold. Inhale up to your flat back, and exhale into your chair once again. This time as you lift, you're going to straighten your torso, lift the right knee, put the weight into the left leg, and see if you can come up and have your thigh parallel with the floor. Do the best you can to use that left leg as your supporter leg. How straight can you get your torso? Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, step back into your crescent lunge. Do you need to change your crescent lunge at all? This time, let's not use our arms. Let's keep them either on our waist, our hips, or down by the sides. We're going to take this a little quicker. We're going to pulse 3 times, just like we did with our back knee, but a little faster. And then on our third one, we're going to try to lift the knee and bring the thigh parallel with the floor. Let's see if we can do it. Here we go. We're going to pulse. 1, 2, 3, step up. Oh, I fell. Oh no, I'm going to do it again. There's my crescent lunge. 1, 2, 3, step up. Did I fall this time? No, I caught myself. And then set your right foot down, mountain pose, and take a breath. Breathe. Release the leg. Let go of the work effort, but feel possibly a little bit of a difference, yes? Take an inhale, arms are reached, lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale into your chair. Once. Lift to release a little bit. Sink again, twice. Lift to release slightly. Exhale, sink. This time we're going to lift the left knee up towards the sky. Try to bring your left thigh parallel with the floor as you shift the weight into the right foot. I'm going to use that with an inhale. And then step back to your crescent lunge, exhale. How does it feel? Without the arms, let's see if we can pulse 3 times quick and step forward to lift that left knee. Try to get that thigh parallel with the floor. Let's see what we can do. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and lift. Hold for a breath. Left foot onto the floor, mountain pose, release. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Flat back is your inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back to your downward facing dog, only if your downward facing dog is restful. Maybe you need a tabletop. Maybe you need a child's pose. Take 2 or 3 breaths just to take a little bit of inventory. How you feel? Do you have a little bit more effort left in you? If the answer is no, you could simply get into your resting space. You could finish your practice right here if you like. You could get into Shavasana and just relax for the rest of the video. But if you think you have a little bit more, let's see if we can do one more attempt at exerting a little bit of energy. So whichever pose you are in right now, make your way into downward facing dog if you haven't been there already. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. Exhale, it's forward into your lunge. Inhale, lift the torso. Maybe this time the arms come up. We're going to do those quick little pulses again and try to bring our left thigh parallel with the floor, standing into the right foot. 3 little pulses first though. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and lift. Can you hold? Support yourself in that right leg. How's the knee? How's the hip? Inhale here, and as you exhale, go back into your crescent lunge. Take a breath, and as you exhale, hands to the floor, step back to your downward facing dog. Before you have a chance to change your mind, let's go. Inhale, left leg up to the sky. Exhale it forward into your lunge. Remember, help it if you need. Inhale to lift the torso. Which modification of your arms do you want today? What do you need right now? 3 little pulses with that back leg. 1, 2, 3. Lift that right thigh. Maybe you needed to tap the toes down for a little bit of balance, and then lift. Maybe your arms need to change. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, step back to that crescent lunge. Take 1 more breath in, and as you exhale, hands down to the floor. Step back to your downward facing dog. Inhale back to tabletop. Now, if you want to give your arms one last little bit of work effort, we're going to try that dolphin plank again, and we're going to add a little bit more. And you're going to decide if that little bit more is suitable for you. So here we go. I'm going to come down to my forearms. I'm going to interlace my fingers so I have a little bit of support. Make sure that those forearms are planted, rooted into the floor. Step one leg back, step the other. Make sure that you're not sinking into the shoulders. And you can simply stay right here and keep breathing and see if you can hold it for a little bit longer. If you would like to challenge your shoulders a little bit more, keep the forearms, elbows planted. Don't let them slide or slip or move. But we are going to try to walk those feet forward, just like we did when we came into our forward fold. I'm going to lift the bum up towards the sky, shifting a little bit more weight into the forearms. My gaze is towards the floor, maybe even towards my back toes, and maybe shift even more into the shoulders. Try not to sink into those shoulders. No turtlenecks here. Push the floor away from you. Breathe. And then walk those feet back into your plank. Take one more full cycle of breath here. Drop the knees. Walk the hands back towards your torso, knees. Sink back into a child's pose. I'm going to go into a wide knee active child's pose. So that I get a little bit of stretch in the shoulders. If I attempted the dolphin plank with a little bit of extra lift, I might notice that my shoulders need a little bit of extra love here. Even if you didn't attempt to lift the bum, maybe your shoulders feel that they could go for a little bit of extra love. So I like our active child's pose just to kind of get a different little sensation into those shoulders. And then take a breath or two in a relaxed child's pose with no effort in the shoulders. Have your head propped, supported if you need, or it might simply be resting on the mat. Take whatever little wiggle jiggle movement that you need to relax to catch your breath. And we'll take about 2 or 3 breaths here, just so that you can let go. Release the tension. To bring your breath back to that smooth breath, just by chance if it sped up on you. Take one more cycle here. And then lift the torso. And if you can't sit onto your heels in our hero's pose, if you need to use a prop, I just want to release the shoulders for a second or two. So we're just going to swim them. So take an inhale to raise them forward. Keep going up towards the sky. And with your exhale, swim them back behind you. Try not to engage your ribs, but just the shoulders. So it doesn't matter if your swimming back is not exactly straight back behind you or more a little bit to the side. Whatever your shoulders can manage. We're going to do that twice more. Inhale to lift the arms and exhale to swim them back, rotating in the shoulders. Inhale, up. And exhale, this time I'm going to come to my cactus arms and just try to lift that heart center, that collarbone a little bit up towards the sky, trying to take the elbows a little bit behind the shoulders. You might feel like this is slightly feeling like a back bend. And then neutral, not shoulders, neutral spine, relax the shoulders. Take a breath or two here. And then make your way to your bum. Now, before we come down to Shavasana, I'm going to have my blocks or my pillows or whatever prop that I have with me. I'm going to have them here by my side because I'm going to use them to prop my knees up. So I have them close so that I can reach them. And then I'm going to come down to the floor. And you may want to go straight to your traditional Shavasana, but I'd like to open up the hips just for a second or two. So I'm going to open up the knees to the side, bring the soles of my feet towards each other, and I'm going to use my block to prop up my knee, thigh, so that I'm not actually holding tension. So you're going to have to play around with your prop to see where it's going to fit for you so that you can release the tension. So you can bring your heels up as close into your groin as is comfortable for you, but you do want to release those hips. You don't want the knees exerting energy. So try not to be floating your legs in the middle of the air. Try to have your legs supported. You may not need the blocks. You may be able to get your knees all the way down to the floor if your hips are pretty open. But for today, I feel that the blocks underneath my thigh here is the best suited for me right now. And as I settle the legs, settle the ribs, the abs, the chest, the shoulders, make sure that your neck is in that nice neutral spine, comfortable for you. So that you can let go and release. Make the small adjustment if you need, but try to avoid the constant fidgeting. Can you get to stillness so that you can catch 3 or 4 or 5 breaths? To release the body and to enjoy your stillness. If you are comfortable and you'd like to stay as you are, feel free to stay as you are. If you do want to get into a more traditional Shavasana, use your hands to help guide those knees back up to the sky. Extend those legs long. Maybe you'll have to move those props a little bit off to the side. Find comfort again if you decided to come out of those butterfly knees. And find stillness and comfort once again. And in your final resting pose, you want to make sure that you are comfortable enough that you can tune into your breath so that you're not exerting any energy, that you can release all the tension, And then you can enjoy the benefits of your movement. Allowing the body to absorb that information from the movement that we did in our practice. Maybe building a little bit of strength. Maybe building up our endurance. But here in your final resting pose of your practice today, this is where you want to let go of the work effort. This is like your little prize at the end. I always feel that this is giving back to my body for providing the movement. Whatever shape your movement took, whether you fell over or not, whether you were able to hold for the entire time or not, that doesn't matter. Right now, you're giving back to your body. You're giving it back the breath, the oxygen, the nourishment that it needs to regenerate. And in general, it feels good to take a breath or two at the end of your practice, just so that you can gather yourself. Take a few more breaths here, and I will shortly guide you back. Without moving your body just yet, bring awareness back into your breath. Maybe start to deepen it to awaken the body. And then invite those little gentle movements. How do you want to wake up your body now? Maybe it's the same as last time you practiced. Maybe it's slightly different. If you are on your back body, slowly and gently make your way up into a sit. Find your cross leg or whichever leg position suits you right now. And we'll take a nice big inhale, taking the arms, raise them up over your head. Bring the palms to meet, bring them down to heart center with your exhale. You can stay right here or have them in your lap. We'll finish our practice here, honoring the light within. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you feel a little bit better and you feel that you can take on the rest of your day or the rest of your week with a little bit more ease. So we will see you shortly. Bye for now. Please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and sharing the link.